Hello everybody and welcome to the 56th running of the Great Michigan Parade here at the Richmond Good Old Days Festival. I am Preston Trend, and alongside me someone I think needs no introduction, but we'll get one anyways. Miss Richmond 2012 herself, the lovely Caitlin Gordon.
Thank you, Preston. It's always a pleasure to be back with you.
So, Caitlin and I were sitting here talking earlier, and I think this is one of the busiest we've seen Good Old Days in our years of being around town.
Yeah, this was the first year that I actually had to park on the actual Little League field because I didn't get there early enough when I was there at 11 a.m., which was amazing to me.
And we'll talk more about all the things that have been going on this weekend, starting Thursday with some of the events, Friday, Saturday, and then into today. And kind of all those events wrap up with this Great Michigan Parade,
yeah,
which I think is a great culmination of everything Good Old Days is about.
Yeah, and showcasing all the amazing things that have been going on these past couple of days.
Mm-hmm. So I think we see the banner coming down Main Street right now. I think I should mention that we are outside Rick's shop on Main Street, right between Rick's and the Marathon here. Great vantage point looking down Main Street. We see the town clock on our right. We've got Marathon and Carl's Electric in the fire hall to our left. As we see members of our VFW.
And of course, my favorite part of the parade is all of the participants that stand up along the sidelines to honor all of our veterans that come through their parade.
Yes. Perfect way to start the parade. We've got our nation's colors coming through, and you can see there's not too many people still sitting right now honoring our country. A lot of red, white, and blue coming through. As we see members from the Military Order of the Cootie and Auxiliary. They are active members of the Veterans of Foreign Wars for the United States.
I think some of these old military trucks are what we should get to go around the parade maybe next year. I don't want to do the golf cart. I want to be bumped up for our 5th year doing this.
Hey, I would love to be in one of these flat green Army Jeeps. I think that would be fun. Put the top down, cruise around town.
We'd really be able to get like where we need to go. I think people would really be able to move out of our way for those situations.
Or we get a truck like this to haul our entourage around.
And now when he says entourage, he really means himself. I keep track every year before our broadcast. I have had two friends or family members or people in the community that have come to say hi to me. Preston's like at 10 already, I think.
And we see members of the mounted Macomb County Sheriff Department. I should mention we're seeing Chief Dave Teskey rolled by in the Richmond Police Cruiser. Our members of the Richmond Police worked their tails off over this weekend. They're everywhere, all security for different events, running getting the traffic through. It's a big coordination of all these different groups.
Mm-hmm.
As we see those mounted police come through.
I think the horse in the middle is not too happy about the sirens going on. He's ready to go home. He said, it's been a long weekend, I need a nap.
Long weekend. And fun fact, Caitlin, a little Richmond trivia. We are seeing the Richmond Volunteer Fire Department's 1925 LaFrance, the oldest piece of city equipment, as Steve Aiken waves. And we go from the oldest piece of city equipment to our newest piece of equipment, the brand new ladder truck. As we see members of the fire department waving to the crowds.
I like the one behind it. Good old reliable.
Yes, the old engine. Trying to get a look at who's driving. It looks like Gary Bertassi and Eric Hayes. And 2 more trucks from our fire department. It's amazing. We look at those 4 trucks that have just rolled by, and that they're able to fit all of them plus the antique truck in that fire department or in the fire hall.
It doesn't look that big when you're driving past it.
No.
I don't know when they cram everybody in there.
We know We know if there's a fire in town, we'll be well taken care of, that's for sure. As we see Mr. Teska waving out the window of the rescue.
But speaking of all of these amazing fire trucks, I got to participate again in the water ball competition.
Yes.
With the current Miss Richmond, so we always do past queens and current queens. Nobody got injured this year, which was great.
That's
there was
a
no
plus.
water hit to the face, which I appreciated. Unfortunately for the past queens, the 2019 Miss Richmonds in court, they came to play. They dominated. They beat us this year.
Maybe you guys should get a spot in the parade and you can practice right there, right off the side of the water truck.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, we almost got some of our camera crew there too.
We had a little help from one of the pedestrians. He put his umbrella out there. He was ready to help us.
And we see members of the EMS coming by.
Oh, here comes the candy. I see the kids getting excited.
Yes. That would be the Lennox Township Fire Department. We'll see a couple of these other local area fire departments roll through with their trucks and rigs.
You know, with all these fire departments, police, rescue vehicles, I feel like Richmond is the safest place to be right now. We can handle anything that could potentially happen.
Yes. Oh, I know Tyler's going to be happy. Tyler, one of our camera guys, was talking about how he wanted to get some candy up there on his little riser he got, and it looked like the Lennox firefighters hooked him up.
It's not too bad. First time around, first candy, get some.
We got an antique Memphis fire truck coming through now. Our neighbors to the north.
You know, Preston, I will say it looks like all of the fire departments have come through, and I don't think anybody brought their donations this year.
Ooh, that's right. Those of you that have listened to our broadcast before know Caitlin's a big dog person.
Those are my favorite folks that go by that incorporate this kind
If
of
we
stuff.
see any dogs go by, I just stop talking and let Caitlin take over. As we see the Ira Township Fire Department. Waving to our camera people. And this looks like, I can't see their shirts.
I'm not sure if these lovely ladies are with the fire departments that have just gone by, or if they are with Joe Ballard Towing.
Oh, it looks like they're. Yep, they are. We can see they got
I see the little tow truck.
the little tow truck wagon.
We appreciate Ballard Towing. Last year they did save our parade route. They did have to tow a couple of vehicles. This year, I think people learned their lesson. They were cleared out early this year. That breakfast was not worth it. They were like, we'll park on the other side.
Right. Yeah, I walked down here at about 11 o'clock ish, and the streets were already pretty clear. As we see Joe Ballard drive by. Got an antique truck on the back of there this year too. I haven't seen that one before.
No.
That's kind of cool looking.
That's not an antique towing truck, is it?
I don't know. I kind of want to find out.
I think it might be. Maybe that's what in the back is. They tow your tractor or something, and then you pile in the back, and you get to go to wherever your destination was.
It's like a hayride.
Yeah.
Except you're paying for it.
Except much more expensive.
And you got to go to the mechanic. And we see another, little bit older tow truck as well, towing a truck.
That's the one they're going to give us to drive around next year. The one that doesn't work. They'll just let us sit in
They'll
it.
be like, yeah, you guys can totally have this. And we see a big sponsor, not only of our parade and the festival, but really of a lot of things in town, the Richmond Lions Club. And we see the lion there, the lion mascot.
Have you ever caught his name?
I have not gotten the name of the lion.
I mean, he is very popular. It is very hard to get an appointment with him.
Yes. Probably one of the more beloved mascots in town, too. I know Dante can scare the little kids sometimes, the Blue Devil.
Lion's a little more friendly.
Yes. And we see members of the Lions Club passing out candy. If the kids didn't love that mascot now, they'll love him even more. Get a little candy from him. And speaking of Dante the Blue Devil, we see the Richmond High School Marching Band under the direction of Miss Molly Shack coming down Main Street. We talk about the things going on and stuff. Sunday, today actually, the parade starts at 1:30, but this place was rocking starting at about 11:30. Yeah. We had all the drum lines from the bands right across the street from us in this kind of lot, and they just had the drum lines go at it. It was kind of cool. A little tough for our mic tests.
Yeah, a little tough to get all the audio going, but definitely fun to see those bands all come together and kind of show off the different talent they have going on in those high schools.
Yes.
Of course, we are a little partial to our hometown marching band,
sure.
Of course, and they do such a good job for all of our Friday football games. I know you said, Preston, they were great this last Friday for your home game, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the band had the place rocking over there at Ben Bolt Stadium. We had Algonac come into town, and we were able to take care of business 26-7. So the band was rocking start to finish.
Which is also why, if Preston is a little raspy today,
yes,
he was on the sidelines helping coach our boys to make sure we did bring home that win for the town.
And we'll see more members of the Richmond High School and community school staff come through a little bit later. And coming down the street now, we've got this year's Grand Marshal. That would be Dr. Markey, Mr. Frank Markey. He came to town in 1961 with his wife Kitty, who I believe...
She's right there with him.
Yep, her in the back seat. That old convertible. They came to town in 1961, and he was a dentist in town for 50 years. Oh, that's the Jenkins Impala, I believe. That's Austin Bergeon and Kevin driving. Dr. Markey's been a member of the Lions Club since 1962 and served as the president for 2 years. He was awarded the Melvin Jones Fellowship Award in 1995, which is the highest form of recognition for the organization. Retired from dentistry in 2011, but continues to volunteer for the town. So a great representative for our great city.
And speaking of great representative, here comes our 2019 Miss Richmond and Court members. Our 2019 Miss Richmond this year is Lexi Rajeski. She is a senior at Richmond High School. And her two court members, Paige Thompson and Grace Thompson. Paige is also a senior at Richmond High School, and Grace is a senior at Marshal.
And we go from the big queens to the little queens. The Little Miss Richmond pageant kind of kicks off the festival. This year's Little Miss is Ava Hill, who, fun fact, her sister Olivia was Little Miss last year. Her court members are Autumn Johnson, Brenna Kramer, Abigail Payton, and Chloe Shemansky.
Yeah, we had a great turnout for Little Miss this year. We had 15 very cute little participants.
And we see members of the 82nd Airborne Division. Getting a big standing ovation from all of our parade watchers. I should mention some of our parade sponsors. You'll see their banners coming down. Mr. Thomas McGovern, attorney and counselor at law, longtime lawyer here in town. Big sponsor of the festival and the parade. And another cool tradition, we see members of the football team carrying the banners in their Richmond home blue jerseys.
And you hear them coming a mile away, Preston, one of my favorite participants that always makes their way out to our parade.
This would be the Ingersoll Pipe Band, come to us all the way from across the bridge in Ontario. Like we talk about, the drum lines will perform before the parade. A lot of these pipe bands and some of those school bands go to the beer tent after the parade, and they'll each take turns performing on the stage. So
find the beer tent.
Yes.
You're getting lost.
You just follow the
sound.
music.
Coming up behind it, looks like we have the Richmond robotics team, correct?
Yes, it's actually a combination of the Richmond robotics team and the Armada High School Fighting Pie team. You see the Fighting Pie mascot there, and a couple of the robots for both teams. Wonder what that flamingo one does.
I don't know, but I'm kind of into it. I have a very weird obsession with flamingos right now.
Really?
So I feel like I maybe need to like take this home with me. I don't know what I would need it for, but I mean
it's a
could find
robot
things,
inflatable flamingo. Like
maybe I could like have it like as a server for like cocktail parties or something.
we see some of the actual robots they'll use. And now I don't know if these are the robots from this year or if they're the ones from last year, but we see members of the robotics team and their advisor showing off what their robots can do. And following up the robotics teams, we have members of the Richmond Community Schools staff.
With Preston, you are now a proud member of that little group.
I am, yes. This will be my first year teaching full-time. We see members, Mr. Reinhardt and school board member Kyle Simmons.
They're liking the tie.
They never see me in a tie, so this is like new to them.
So now we know what you wear. This is obviously not the attire you're wearing to teach.
Yes. We see other members, Mr. Castle, and I've been told I need to shout out Mr. Castle's son, Big Ben! Mr. Bartels, the middle school principal. Other members of the staff, Mr. Walmsley. And we'll see the school bus come by. For those of you that are going to watch this recording before November and you live in the school district, please make sure you check out the school website. They've got a link on there. We've got a major bond proposal coming up that'll be on the November 5th ballot. Check out the school website. You can see all the amazing things they're going to do with that bond to really cement ourselves as like that crown jewel school in the area.
Yeah, especially helping our students. I believe last year's graduating class earned over $100 million in scholarships for the colleges that they were going to.
And Caitlin mentioned all those academic scholarships, all the great things our students do with the robotics and in the classroom, and we've got our state championship cheerleading team.
Yeah.
The 2019 state champ.
These girls work so hard all year, not only supporting the different organizations that are going on between the football team, basketball team, but to work hard to earn their championship themselves. The amount of work that goes into it and the training these girls do, I'm tired watching the videos I get sent from these girls.
We got State Rep Jeff Yarrick, former city councilman turned state rep, in his antique fire truck. A little behind in my binder here.
It's okay.
And we just saw Mr. Yarrick pan into the camera. As we see more sponsors, Ace Hardware and Proline Asphalt, as well as North Star Bank. A parade like this and a festival like this certainly couldn't happen without all of these sponsors. And we'll talk more about the volunteers when we get later on in the parade. These guys that are probably thankful it's not 95 and humid out.
And the clouds are in the sky for them.
Yeah, perfect day for a parade and a perfect day for the 1st Michigan Colonial Fife and Drum Corps. Coming to us from Sterling Heights, Michigan.
You know, I'm thinking one year after the parade, we need to go to one of these guys and get some drum lessons so we can participate next year when they have like the really cool drum events. We can't get our bike checked anyway. We might as well go participate in the event, right?
And we mentioned the North Star Bank sponsor in the parade. Well, we've got their mascot, the Star.
Didn't catch his name either.
Didn't catch his name.
He's been busy around the festival grounds. I know
Really?
he's gotten pictures with the Miss Richmond girls, a couple of the other queens that have come to participate in our few different events. He has been a very busy star this weekend.
He is the star of the show.
Yes. Coming in with the dad jokes early, aren't we, Preston?
I know. We see members of the North Star Bank. Another parade sponsor, Richmond Transport.
And it looks like we have some younger football players holding that banner.
We do. They kind of mixed them up this year. Usually we start with the older ones and kind of move down to the.
Yeah.
I know in school, like middle school, you had to sit there and wait until the end of the parade to get a banner.
You're just waiting for
then
your banner.
each year you got to leave a little earlier. And then varsity, you're one of the first couple banners. You get down there, you go grab something to eat, and you're back before the parade's over.
Yeah, and you're good to go. I like it. I think we need to mix up. Let's have the older kids stay later.
Well, we talk about Richmond Transport, and there we see members of the Manchek family in their antique Massey Harris tractors. And it's kind of a combination there too with the St. Augustine's School float. St. Augustine's Catholic School here in Richmond. See Father John there. I see Father Joe and Father John out and about in the community quite a bit, which is good to see.
I like the theme this year, Noah's Ark, all the
Noah's
animals.
Ark.
Not sure if I would really want it to have been on that boat. It sounds like a lot of cleanup, a lot of feeding.
And coming down.
It looks like it's the Richmond Sportsmen's Club
Yes.
in Columbus, Michigan.
And members of Boy Scout Troop 84.
Were you ever a Boy Scout, Preston?
I was not.
So you can't do like the really cool knots, like can't start a fire in the woods if we get lost?
No, thankfully I live in town and I won't need to start a fire.
All right, I'm not taking you camping then because if stuff goes down, I need a Boy Scout with me that knows how to handle it.
More parade sponsors. We've got Prosper Tech Machine and Tool and American Energy Services. Prosper Tech located over on Skinner Drive. I believe that's that new building that went up there back behind the Little League fields.
Yeah, and I'm kind of liking what's coming up next now. You get the steel drums coming. I believe this is St. Louis High School's steel drum band. I feel like we're on vacation now, Preston.
It is. Coming to us all the way from St. Louis, man. That's a bit of a hike.
Yeah. We
I'm digging. I'm digging this.
They got a Shark mascot too.
Oh, it's Blitzkrieg Bob.
Yeah. I want to go on their bus home.
I would not be opposed to being one of the floats in front or behind them. That sounds like that's got to be fun the whole way down. And we see the giant Tootsie Roll. That must mean that's the Knights of Columbus. Trying to see if we've got members of the Knight. I see a couple of the Knights up there driving the truck. They must be out and about passing out all their Tootsie Rolls. We should mention one of them we were going to have was the Children's Parade winners in here. Children's Parade went on yesterday, runs the route of the parade mostly, but runs back towards town and ends with the ping pong blowout. And I heard one of the winners, Count Richmond, actually couldn't make it today. So
yes, we were trying very hard. He did win judge's pick, and we really would have loved to have him on the broadcast today to kind of tell how much that means to him. So we voted that. He's been such a affluent member of the community for years, and we were so excited when he came back after his little, break.
Yeah. So kids could check that out on Richmond TV and Halloween this year. So
He'll be back.
We see members of St. Peter's Lutheran Church. And I was wondering if I saw the boat. I didn't know if they were going to do nose arc. There's a
even
dog
the
for you,
cameraman
Caitlin.
knows. He's like, you gotta look at the dog. Give the people what they want.
And by people they mean Caitlin.
Caitlin, yeah.
So we see members of St. Peter's Church passing out their bubblegum and candy. Looks like just the Jesus First boat there.
And now we have the Richmond trap team coming through.
Yes, we talked earlier about academics with the school. We talked about the robotics. We talked a little bit about athletics with the cheerleaders. Another team that's really burst onto the scene at the school and kids get involved with is the trap team. They were state runner-ups this year. Unfortunately, the champ was that orange school to the west, Armada, but you know what?
We'll get them this next year.
I know these boys work really hard all year round too, and they've got a raffle for that four-wheeler there. You can get a hold of a trap team member to get tickets for that. That wouldn't be a bad prize to win.
No, not at all.
Got to mention a couple banners that just went by. Jacqueline Atkinson Real Estate and Active Tree Removal, sponsors of the parade. As we see orange and black, that is the Utica Chieftain Marching Band under the direction of Mr. Brett Bays.
I always do love how we get so many different high school bands that come throughout the area to come be a part of our parade.
Yeah.
And it's always so fun to hear just the different talents that all these schools have within each other.
It seems like each one's got a different theme too, so we get a little mix.
And again, I'm sure all these band members are also happy that it is perfect parade weather day, not too hot, not super sunny. While they're walking, hearing all these instruments, I know how hot that can get sometimes. Mom's probably appreciating it too. They don't gotta hustle with those water bottles to make sure everybody's okay.
Oh, there's some years where it's hot and sunny, and those people with the water bottles are working just as hard as the band kids.
They almost need their own water bottle team to go behind them.
Yeah. We should mention too, this is the second year now they've kind of shortened the parade route. The parade route, I believe, is ending at Mary Street, just past St. A's. And a lot of that had to do with these bands. Our parade, the Great Michigan Parade, it is one of the longer parade routes, and a lot of those bands were getting really, really fatigued by the time they got to the end. So to make sure we had a great performance start to finish for all the different viewers, we kind of cut that route down, and now we got solid performance all the way through. As we see members of the Richmond Masonic Lodge, and I walked up this morning from my house, and I walked by and got about half a mile away, and I could smell the pancakes from the pancake breakfast they have.
That is always the best.
And I thought I was so close to pulling in, and
just getting a couple pancakes before you came to the
I thought I
broadcast.
was running behind schedule, and I was actually like an hour ahead. I had the time wrong.
You did have the time. Coming up behind them though is the Pay It Forward campaign that's going on. I love the bumblebee theme. I feel like it's very appropriate.
Yes.
It makes springtime, makes me happy.
As we see members, I see, we got one dressed as a beekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. The Jeep dressed as the bee.
I do like that. Just remember, Preston, be kind.
Be kind. Yes. I think that's good. Be kind and pay it forward. I think that's great advice for just about anything.
Yeah.
So we had all the high school teams roll by. Some of our younger Blue Devils. We've got the Richmond Little League 2019 District 7 champions. These are the 13 and 14U teams. As we see the boys and some of their coaches.
And I believe it was their nice baseball fields that I had to park on
Yes.
this year for the festival. It looks like we have State Senator Peter Lasuto, if I'm saying the last name correctly.
Yes.
Yes, all right, nailed it.
Yes, you see, I believe that's Mr. Lasuto walking down now, and members of his campaign committee and family members.
You know how I know all of these state representatives and senators listen to our broadcast after it goes up live
Yes.
and on YouTube is because every year there are more and more dogs that they bring for their campaigns. So they know
They've listened,
to get
Caitlin.
more voters that this is how they have to get it. Just
See,
bring
they're all
more
basically,
dogs.
they're all campaigning for your vote,
You
Caitlin.
know-
They're like, how many dogs can we get? We have to get
get
more
that
dogs
one
than the opposition.
I won't give away the secret dog to bring to really win my heart over because I feel like that's just unfair. Plus, I love seeing all the different ones. I mean, look how happy they are.
As we see more members of Mr. Lucido's campaign. Solid color choice too with the yellow and
Yeah.
black. That's tough to miss.
And it looks like we have a couple more sponsors coming through. We have Pyro Joe's in Meadow Lodge of Richmond, as well as the Bailey Dental Group.
I was able to watch them from my grandma's house, so it's always cool to see.
It was a good show this year. I was at
Yeah.
the festival while they were going off.
Everybody always asks why we don't have fireworks in town on the 4th. I'm like, because we do them for good old days.
Yeah, we're the
It's
good old days.
better.
Yeah.
And this would be the 642 Pipes and Drums out of Chatham, Ontario. More of our Canadian neighbors.
That must be interesting when they're crossing over the border and they kind of look in the van, what's going on, and they just see
They're
all the
like-
guys dressed up. They're like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
No issue here.
I wonder how that conversation goes. Speaking of patrol, we've got a Georgia State Patrol, I believe it, and like an older patrol car.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the ones you've seen, like the classic movies that are going on.
Yeah. Now, this next guy, I believe, is supposed to be busy today.
You should be.
We have Mr. Rory the Lion from the Detroit Lions.
To be fair, their game is
It's a 4 o'clock game,
4
correct?
o'clock game, so he does have time.
He's got time to get down there, as we see, talking with some young fans. Next up is the Austin Catholic High School float. We see members of the Austin Catholic staff, some of the students up there. Austin Catholic in, I believe it's Chesterfield.
I believe you are correct.
That whole 23-mile area, Anchor Bay, Chesterfield, New Baltimore, kind of blends
It
together.
all
for
blurs
me.
in together, yeah.
Down there off 23 Mile, Austin Catholic. And next is Ray Wiggins Nursery. And they've got some of their beautiful flowers and plants up there on the truck.
You know, I did get to check them out this year to get a couple of different plants, and I spent a whole Saturday planting all the beautiful flowers I got there. And because of the hot weather that came through, I won't say who, but somebody in my household did not realize plants need to be watered daily. So my plants are looking a little sad right now. We're going to hope next year is a better year for them.
Yes, well, you can go see Ray Wiggins if you need to get new
I'm
ones.
going to have to, I think.
So we had a couple sponsors go by there, D&E Landscaping, Richmond Collision, and Grace Performance. I know Richmond Collision hooked me up when I hit a deer 2 years ago.
Oh, yes.
Did a lot of great work, got my car back to me really quick. So if you need collision work, Richmond Collision's the place. Preston Trend highly recommends.
Mention his name, won't get you a discount or anything. They just like to know.
They'll be like, oh yeah,
That guy.
we all know him.
The one that hit the deer. We
Next.
now have the New Haven marching band coming through.
The New Haven Band, under the direction of, I believe, Margan Wiggins. Now these old cars are the Zenobia Shrine Jeepsters. Did we see these last year, Caitlin?
You know, I'm listening to the horns and the songs coming through them, and these don't sound familiar to me. I think these are newer to our parade.
We always see the little cars, we see the tiny motorbikes. I don't think we've seen the Jeepsters.
I don't. I kind of like it.
It is kind of a cool looking car.
Just keep making a list of all the different cars that we need to get for next year for us to drive around and get things going.
A little bit of a change too from the tiny cars. These look like they're comfortable to sit in.
And it looks like the last one, is that Kermit the Frog, I think?
Yes, I hear a couple kids screaming, Kermit! Oh, it is Kermit. He's waving.
I mean, they have good celebrities that come for their cars to come out. I mean, you can't beat it.
It is the Great Michigan Parade.
You do pull out all the stops for this parade.
We get everybody for this. As we see everybody sitting down there along Main Street. It's crazy. Like Thursday I came through after work and people already had there were rows of chairs already set out.
They were ready to go. You want to make sure you have
get
the
your
best
spot
for viewing, and then of course for the kids, the best spot to get candy thrown at
right on. You got to get those spots right along the curb, get taken up right away.
Yeah, and it's hard for the candy people to chuck the candy back really far. I know they tried to some years for us. They try to get us involved and everything, but it's hard to chuck.
Yeah, we're a little further off the road, so I think we're safe.
You know, you say that, and it's one of your kids that's going to be on a float that you teach. He's going to make it his mission just to
They're gonna be
really
we are
fling
going
a
to
flag
get
at
Coach
us.
with candy. And these guys, I believe, are more of the Shriner. Yes, these are the Shrine Motor Corps. And their big white Harleys. The Shriners, we should mention, are all volunteers performing their exhibitions. They promote Shriner hospitals. They provide free medical care for burned and crippled children. They've got 22 hospitals, Caitlin, across the United States. They transport patients to Chicago hospitals for treatments free of charge. They've been performing for over 50 years. And their motto is the Shriners Ride so children can walk. Such a great organization.
Yeah, and I like this year they bumped it up. They normally have the little ones that they're doing, but I almost find it a little more impressive that they can handle the
big ones, getting those turned around on Main
I probably
Street.
couldn't even do the little one at lowest speed. I'd have to do the walk, crawl kind of.
Oh my gosh, if we want to get views on this, that's what we need.
We'll go riding up on them.
A special of Caitlin on a motorcycle.
I'm gonna need
I
really good
I would pay
padding.
to watch that. As we see Dick Hoovar's Richmond, that banner coming through in memory of the late Dick Hoovar. And we should mention, as we get these two banners coming down from Heinz Chiropractic and the Richmond Foot and Ankle Clinic, we didn't mention with the Children's Parade, one of the big sponsors was Health Quest. And they stopped by today and dropped us off these crowns. They said, you guys are pretty important.
And
you should rock these crowns.
Everybody knows I love a good crown, so I couldn't turn it down.
Caitlin's just going to add this to the collection. Just more
stick it
crowns
up
for
there.
Caitlin.
I think this one might be one of my new favorites, though. I mean, you can't beat my classic Miss Richard one, but this might be the runner-up behind it. It's a good one.
So those two banners were Heinz Chiropractic and the Richmond Foot and Ankle Clinic. A couple different options here in town if you've got
any kind
ailment.
of issues, really.
And clapping their way down Main Street are the Romeo Marching Bulldogs from Romeo High School, under the direction of Mr. John Phillips.
Trying trying really hard not to sing along now.
I know.
Moving and grooving over here.
Jason can just edit my bad singing out anyways. Like, oh, we don't need that track.
We'll just cut into the actual band performing. That hauls all of their equipment, and I just can never figure out how they fit everything in there with those big drums and tubas.
Yes.
It just seems like it must take a great skill. I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Or it's magic.
It must be. I would not be a good band mom. I'd just hand it to my kid and be like, I don't know, we gotta just figure it out, honey.
You'll figure it out. You're a smart kid.
And following up behind their band is the Romeo Peach Queens. I know that our girls made it out to their to their parade last year and a couple of different events that they had on. The Peach Queens had a very successful year this year, and I was following them on their Facebook page, and they had all kinds of stuff going on that they were running around to. So these two ladies were very busy not that long ago. We're very happy that they were able to make it out for our parade as well.
And we should mention Miss Peach Queen this year is Isabel Wallace, and her runner-up is Brittany Ladson. Ooh, I know who that is. Who are we going to call? We are going to call the Ghostbusters Detroit, Beetlejuice, and Great Lakes Ghostbuster Coalition. Kind of an odd combo, Beetlejuice and Ghostbusters.
Well, if you say his name one more time, we're going to need the Ghostbusters. He's going to come.
Who?
Exactly, Preston, exactly. We've already got the Marshmallow Man and the, I don't even know, does that ghost have a name, or is he just
I know one of them was Slimer. I haven't seen Ghostbusters in years.
He might be Slimer. I think he does slime people.
I think it is, or
So
the
that
big
must
one
be
is.
him, yes.
But we're all right, because the Ghostbusters are here.
They are here and they are ready to protect us. And playing the classic song. They even got a Ninja Turtle Ghostbuster.
Ninja Turtle Ghostbuster.
I've never felt so safe from ghosts in my life.
Just don't cross the streams.
Don't. Which is good that they are following in front of this flow, because we do have Blake's Haunted Attractions, coming up right behind them. And I do notice that although there are creepies coming, there do not seem to be any ghosts.
So I don't know if Ghostbusters can help us with zombies or clowns.
No, but they can take care of the ghosts at least.
I know haunted attractions, Caitlin, like dogs, that's more of your area of expertise.
Yes. So,
Me, not so much.
I know, I always try to get Preston to come out. I feel like it'd be great bonding time for us. Since my birthday is on Halloween, creepy things do make me happy. And I love going to Blake's for their zombie paintball. It's so fun. I feel like maybe the trap team for Richmond could go. Be really great practice for them to get all these zombies.
Oh, geez.
As they come up and try and scare our cameramen who are acting very professional.
That's why we're back here off the street.
Why we hide Preston back a little bit.
Up next is the...
Looks like that's
Puwal's Plumbing Solutions. Excuse me, that's Puwal's Plumbing out in Riley, Michigan. Proud supporters of our troops and their Army transport there. Ooh,
we're getting
gust of wind
here.
More sponsors of the parade. We almost lost our tent here. Whoop, whoop.
We're coming down just a little bit.
We're all right.
We're all good here, not a problem. We did have a couple of other parade sponsors come through.
Whoop. Thank you
very much.
the Richmond Rotary Club, Supreme Electric. I know I saw Dr. Julie's banner go by, dentist here in town.
We now have Macomb Highlanders pipe and drum line coming through.
Almost lost our tent there, Caitlin.
I was gonna say, so sorry for that loud boom on there, guys.
As if our producer Jason wasn't busy enough this week. Now he's got to try
a little bit of wind coming through with us.
To mix all the audio and keep our set here intact.
Yeah, and keep us safe here.
Yes.
Which is why we appreciate Jason so much.
Yes. But how's the saying go, Caitlin? The show must go on.
But we did have those Macomb Highlanders coming through, taking just a little bit of a break. Like we said, this is a very long parade for them, so they do need to have those little bit of moments where they can catch their breath before they put on another great show for the next part of the parade.
Next is the Woodward Avenue chili truck. Are they passing out chili?
You know, they did this last year, and we tried so hard, but we were too far back, and unfortunately, we did not get any chili.
I might have to stop by.
I know.
It looks good.
You know, it's a great day for chili. Lions football's back. It's a little crisp outside.
It is.
That's what we need to do.
Actually, I wouldn't trust eating chili right now with our set blowing everywhere.
Maybe not.
Hey, Caitlin, here you go.
It's
Doghouse Tavern.
And they have all of their pooches ready to go. Having a great time passing out candy. One of my favorites.
Love the Doghouse up in Memphis.
So much fun. One of my favorite places to go.
Next are more of the Shriners. These are the Detroit Shrine Lancers in their mini cars.
So now maybe this vehicle I would be able to handle. It's 4 wheels, low to the ground. If I don't take those turns too sharp, I could do it, I think. This could be my vehicle.
That's it, Caitlin. We found it.
Now, those are also the vehicles, though, that can squirt water, though.
Yes.
Then I definitely need it.
They are motorized units that drive the miniature 1998 Plymouth Prowlers. And they're affectionately known, they made a point here, they're known as those crazy guys who drive those little cars. I think there's not a more accurate description of the Shriners.
You know exactly who we're talking about when we say it.
And we mentioned all those great things the Shriners do. You just can't say enough good things about them. And 2 of our sponsors you can't say enough good things about as well, Foster Blue Water Oil and Sunrise. I always know when they pass out the Sunrise slips because all the kids start migrating towards BP. As well as Blue Flame and My Choice Energy, part of those Foster family of companies. Big supporters of the community, the schools, everything. Can't say enough good things about the Fosters.
And next up we have the Armada High School Marching Band coming through. Another one of our very busy sister schools.
Yep. I'll get to hear these guys play Friday. We travel up to Armada.
Oh, Friday is going to be the big rivalry game.
Battle for the jug.
That's kind of early in the season to have that coming.
Usually is. 2nd or 3rd week.
Well, you know, you're still involved in the high school. It's been a little bit for me. I don't know what's going on.
Caitlin, how do you not remember this? Duh. Excited though for that game. I always get excited for the Armada game.
Rivalry games are always so much fun. Both student sections get super into it, really involved. They're a lot crazier, I feel like, than when we went to high school. We just had, you know, like cowbells. They have like flour that's going up in the air.
Yes.
They've got all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
And following her band, we've got the Miss Armada.
Yes, the 2019 Miss Armada is Leah Koch with her court members Lexi Hill and Emma Harding. I know I was able to make it up to the Armada Fair this year. I do love going to see 4-H kids and see all the animals that they have going on. And just like our girls in the Peach Cream during the festival, these girls are running around all weekend. And they actually came on Friday night to participate in the outhouse races against our queens, which is always super fun to have other queens come and participate with us. The girls did a really great job. They were very competitive, but Richmond Queens were able to bring home that outhouse championship. So stays with us another year, maybe next year for some other queens, but we'll have to see.
It is cool, like as you go to more of these fairs around town, around the area, you see all those different queen groups at each other's fairs. So it kind of becomes, and you could probably speak to it more than I can, kind of becomes that community.
Yeah, it's kind of almost become this really nice sisterhood between the different queens and the directors that put a lot of time into it. And instead of trying to, have your own separate thing, it's really fun to go and support each other with the hard work that goes into all of these festivals.
Yeah. And the Pirates looks like the Captain Fishbones and Pirate Crew. They're the crew of the Forgiven. They were invited as a special guest in the Sarnia Tall Ship Festival. And they have a Facebook page. You can search them on Facebook. Look up Captain Fishbones.
Do you think they have good rum on the boat?
Ooh. Can we find out?
We might have to find them after. We'll add it to the list that we got to go see.
We'll run that by Jason. And we see Mr. Jeff Goodar's 1926 Child's Fire Engine. It's driven by Dan Lyons and Bree Lee. I know Dad and Mr. Goodard took that truck out to New York to the original Child's factory, and it got featured in a couple different magazines. It was kind of cool.
That's awesome. I know we saw go by, we had Fred Miller for county clerk going by for his campaign.
And their big inflatable red, white, and blue ball. More sponsors: Telto Contracting, Eric Groenveld, the dentist, and Jonathan Frank, the Frank Law Firm. All members of the community.
And coming up, we have the Dakota High School Marching Band.
Yes, the Marching Cougars.
Now, I actually have been able to go to a Dakota High School football game and watch these guys perform during their halftime performance.
I bet it's crazy.
And it is amazing that they are able to get all of these kids so coordinated and moving so in sync with each other, because they have a very impressive number of students on their marching band.
Yes, and you viewers will see this band's quite long in length. Caitlin's over here laughing. We've got more people walking by, waving. I love being outside. My first year we were in Menaces, and it was kind of cool because it was quiet and we were kind of able to watch it from the screen. But the past 4 years, at least, we've been together. We've been outside, and we can kind of interact with the people a little bit.
And it makes it a little more fun, I feel like, to see everybody's actual reactions when floats are coming by. And also, when we do have a little bit of technical difficulties, we have very kind bystanders that are willing to help us out, which is kind of entailed to the Richmond spirit. That when you're in need of something, you have a great community that's there to back you up.
Yeah, so the story, like we were trying to get through it, was we got a big gust of wind and our lights actually came down onto us, and we were able to, I caught one of them, and the tent started to go.
It was coming right for me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm no hero, but and the tent actually started to come up. We had a couple people that were standing by, and I wish I would have got their names so we could give them a shout out, but came by, helped our producer Jason kind of hold everything down. They got it all staked down, so we're good now.
I appreciate them. Thank you. So now, Preston, I know you are not a huge fan of clowns.
No.
But what about Shea Alley Clown Club? I mean, these look like some pretty fun clowns to maybe have come around.
Yes, I think I can do the silly clowns.
Scary ones, not
Scary
so much.
clowns, no. But these guys look like fun.
And their golf cart is so colorful.
That is one of my favorites. So one of my favorite bands to go watch on Sunday is the Clown Band, who I didn't go through the list to see if they're coming again this year, but that was one of my favorite ones to go see last year.
Oh, I do remember going to see them last year after the parade. They not only perform very well, but they're very entertaining to watch.
Yes, they interact with the crowd, and it makes for a really funny and entertaining performance.
Yeah.
as we see the Howell Veterinary Clinic coming down. Caitlin, I see a golden, and now, not as big of a dog person as you, but soft spot in my heart for a fluffy yellow golden
For
retriever.
those golden retrievers. Well, me and Preston
That's actually a parrot. Those of you
that one
watching,
is
that's a parrot.
yes. Well, me and Preston were talking before the show. We are getting a little bit of puppy fever in our households.
Yes.
So we're both debating when it's time to add that, fourth-legged friend to the family. And having a great vet clinic like this so close to home,
Yes.
it makes it a little easier to know that if anything happens, that
You'll be taken
you'll
care
be
of.
taken care of. So really now it's just pulling the trigger on the dog. So obviously, Preston, you're getting.
Or maybe I'll get a parrot.
Yeah. Why not? You could teach it to bark and everything. It would almost be like having a dog. Kind of like that is true. They do, our producer did mention that they do live quite longer than a dog would. It's like one of those things that you have to put in your will. One of the children's got to take the bird.
Got to take the bird. You see more members of the Howell Vet Clinic there, passing out some water and some candy. Now, I believe we got a sheet. I believe this should be, yes, that's Jeremy Yake in his 1928 Ford Model AA. I love the wood back to it. Just looks so clean.
Yeah, you can tell they really have taken great care of this vehicle over the years. I mean, it looks brand new.
And we see a lot of these especially at the classic car show that goes on all weekend. You see all those cars that everybody takes such good care of. More sponsors. We've got TM Smith Tool International and Girk Shoes. Girk Shoes, located on the corner of Main and Gleason. And some members of the football team smiling and waving.
And coming up behind them, we have the Plymouth Fife and Drum Course. I think I might have said it almost every year since we've been broadcasting, but I do think we need those hats.
We need to get a hold of somebody that can make that happen for us.
You've got to have connections,
These are
right,
like
to somebody.
those are a lot younger kids too than some of the other pipe bands. That's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that.
Playing Yankee Doodle.
The generation behind them, is going to carry on those really fun traditions.
It's cool because then we mentioned, you and I were talking, and we're getting close to the 60th parade.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that we'll start, hopefully, these groups will keep coming back and they've got the new members coming through so that we can keep enjoying the music of those pipe bands and those marching bands and those classic cars.
Yeah.
Another group we love to see every year are the Hell's Our Home group and their motorized picnic table. That's the way to get around, Caitlin.
And they got snacks on there and candies. That kind of, maybe we need to jump on really quick.
Now I saw this one getting ready this week. This was parked out at First State Bank.
Yes.
And I see the Lombardi trophy there too.
Maybe that's a prediction for us this year. It's Lions year. We're going to bring it home.
Yes. I believe the theme are like heroes because they've got the fire department, the police department, football trophy. As we see members of the First State Bank group, I see Mr. Coosdale and his wife passing out candy.
And it looks like we have coming up, we have the Michigan Sugar Queen.
Yes. The Sugar Queen is Shannon Turrell, my apologies, from Emily City, and the Queen's Court members are Lindy Bowie of Midland and Emily Jaremba of Saginaw. The Sugar Company is headquartered in Bay City, and they've been making life Get this, Caitlin, making life sweeter for folks like you since 1906.
You know, I will say I do put Pioneer sugar in my tea every morning.
It's good stuff. More sponsors, Rick's Shop, where we're located right now. Growing Smiles, sponsors of the parade.
And it looks like we also had the Tropical Smoothie Cafe banner go by.
Trop. It was breakfast yesterday. It was tropical smoothie. Love Trop. Get a Bahama Mama. It's great.
Yes.
The red, black, silver, and white of the Chippewa Valley Marching Band coming by now. One of the sights I'd love to see, you mentioned going to a Dakota game to see it. I've heard the Dakota Chippewa football game is unreal in terms of atmosphere.
It is insane. I actually, my boyfriend's parents live not that far from Dakota, so when it is at Dakota, and I mean, they are farther from the school, you can hear it clear as day from their backyard. The cheering and the bands and everything that is going on. That atmosphere is electric all around those schools when they perform.
Perform in the drum line across the street from us. As you see, as the truck goes by, this kind of open lot will be where the drum lines perform, and then some of the pipe bands go to the beer tent after, which makes for a fun Sunday to kind of unwind. This year we don't have to worry about the Lions game being on right now. We can watch that later too.
Preston's not checking his fantasy football as much to see what's going on with that.
I'm not. Jason loves it that I'm not on my phone right now. Got a chance to talk to these guys this morning.
Did you?
Yes, as I was walking up. The Set in Stone construction truck, you'll see that parked next to their building, which is next to BP on Main Street. It's actually parked there pretty much all year.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to talk to them. They were grilling some hot dogs up.
Makes it a lot easier to find their establishment too when you got a big,
military truck that says Set in Stone construction. I see their trucks out, their regular trucks out and about too, doing a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
Next, that looks like Old Smoky, the St. Clair County Veterans of All Wars, and we see some of our war veterans waving to the crowd. Keeping with that patriotic theme, we've got the red, white, and blue truck of Long's Propane and Gas on County Line Road, just outside of town in Casco. And we've got some of the Long's staff members and their kids passing out candy. That's the way to do it, Caitlin. Just in the golf cart, ride behind it, throw a little candy.
I always do wonder, though, when they do get kids to help throw out candy, is if they're kind of not throwing out as much because they know whatever is left over gets to come home with you. So.
And this is the Community of Christ float. Church here in town. Looking to see. I see some sheep up there and a shepherd. As we see members of the church and Mrs. Hager waving. More sponsors, New Holland of Richmond, Berlindi Insurance, and the Henry Ford Health System. See more members of the football team. Looking sharp in their jerseys.
I do like the new jerseys. I know they're a little old for the kids, but they still feel new to me.
To you, they're new, yeah.
They still feel new to me.
Ooh. This one looks like they've got a theme with their costumes too.
Yeah.
It's the Port Huron Northern High School Marching Band.
Now I recognize those green ears anywhere. This is Star Wars theme because that is Yoda.
Good call, Caitlin.
And on cue, here it goes.
Oh, it's like they heard you.
If they know. Oh, and I love the flag girls with the Leia buttons. They're really
That is a nice touch.
They're into the theme. Well, I know it's football Sunday, but now I feel like I gotta go home and watch some Star Wars over here.
I'm getting a kick out of just watching our camera guy Tyler up there dancing to all these bands.
I think he's getting excited though because Darth Vader is coming by.
Ooh. It's kind of cool when the kids get into the theme of it. You get a little bit of, they're marching in sync, but you get them kind of out of their uniforms, make it a little fun for them.
Yep, I love the
Princess Leia on the tuba.
I love this. It's always fun when you can see all the personalities coming out for the different kids.
Where else would you see Princess Leia playing a tuba other than the Great Michigan Parade here at Richmond Good Old Days?
And it looks like we have another pair of queens coming by. It looks like it is the Bayarama queens making their way down. Can you stop by a little bit of paparazzi there?
I know. Did you have a lot of paparazzi back in the day, Caitlin, when you were queen?
We did have a lot of cameras that would come around and everything, and there was always the questions that would get asked while you were coming by on the float. People were very curious about what shoe wear you would be wearing. I don't know why it was such a big thing for them, but
As we see the Bayarama Queen and her court roll by. And they are followed by the Keystone Cops. And their mini bikes and wheelie cars spraying the crowd with water.
I see some of those surprised faces. I think people always forget which passing vehicles will get you with water, unfortunately.
When you wouldn't normally expect a cop car to have water guns on it. Always one of the favorites of all the kids, the Keystone Cops.
Yes.
Again, members of the Detroit Shriners, and we talked about all the great things the Shriners do with their hospitals and getting kids treatment and getting them to the places they need to get to. And it looks like they have a lot of fun doing it too.
Yeah.
And next, I think you've got to have seen this truck around town.
Oh, yes.
It's hard to miss. The big yellow monster truck from Jeremy's Automotive. I believe, is that Mr. Swamba, John, up there driving the truck?
I don't know. They're pretty high up. It's hard to tell.
I know, I can't see up there. I can't tell who it is.
Although it did help me out last night because my car was parked very close to the monster truck. So I looked at the monster truck and thought about my vehicle.
Good. And I can vouch for them too, do awesome work. I had to take my Jeep there this summer.
You're having a lot of issues with your car.
I know. It's just one of those years. But they took care of it, got it out, done real quick. Awesome experience at Jeremy's. And I know they're, again, really involved in the community, sponsoring different sports teams and donating to different places. They had a derby car we saw go by, getting towed, obviously. You see their banner alongside Wesley Orthodontics. Dr. Wesley, another big community supporter.
And as we've mentioned before, the community is always so thankful for the support that they give, for good old days and different events that we have going on. None of it would be possible without our great sponsors and community support that we have.
Right. You and I were trying to go through the list of sponsors to find all the different names, and it was kind of tough because they got to put the print so small because there's so many.
We would have had to gotten here probably at like 10 a.m. just to make sure that we had everybody.
Well, I was here plenty early anyway. And now coming through, we've got the Great Lakes Drum Corps Alumni.
A little more Star Wars theme coming in there on their car.
And again, another group that'll be performing in the beer tent after the parade. It's always fun, like after the parade, kind of chill out, go get an elephant ear, and go watch the bands play.
So if you want to know what Preston's going to be doing,
I mean, that is like my dream Sunday. Elephant ear, football, and some pipe bands.
I don't know. I think I might have to go for the chili cheese fries today. It's a little chilly. I think it sounds pretty good. Of course, I did wear white today, so that will be my downfall when I get those.
And we see Mr. Pankowitz, Steve Pankowitz, owner of Pankowitz Cider Mill, and his antique John Deere tractor. I know they're getting all geared up for the big fall.
I'm very excited to be stopping by there.
And they're followed by the Art in Motion Dance Academy.
I like it. It's a very summery theme, kind of a nice way to wind down because it does not matter what the calendar says.
No.
To me, summer ends the weekend after Good Old Days.
Yes. I was thinking about that on the walk over. Everybody talks about Labor Day being the end of summer. Here in Richmond, we make summer we stretch summer one more week. I mean, yeah, we got to go to school that week and stuff, but just one more week of summer and then
it's officially really starts fall.
And it does feel like fall today.
Yes.
Beautiful day for a parade. Not too sunny, not hot, not cold, little wind.
And up next we have Scarefest coming through. And now Scarefest is the haunted attraction where you can actually spend the night on their premises to see if you can survive the night with the zombies.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard pass from me, Caitlin.
As you can see,
I've heard great things about it. Not my cup of tea.
It is a lot of fun. As you can tell, the zombies are not running around because I think, and this is just speculation, that they are looking for those prime hiding spots for that event that they're going to have going on.
Next, we got a member of the car show, the Ray Wiegand Classic car you just saw go by. That was a 1957 GMC Napco. And more sponsors, Kate's Funeral Home and the Hamlin Pub. I know they have that pub in the park, which has been a big hit.
And we're so happy that we actually have our own Hamlin Pub now in Richmond.
We do, yes. So if you haven't already, go stop by, tell Jimmy you said hi, and enjoy some good food. As we enjoy the Hartford Woods band come through.
For the parade. I feel like I hear it and I'm like, okay, that's who that was.
Now these cool looking vehicles are from Grace Performance out in Kimball. A couple of their side-by-sides. I know they've been showing these off all weekend. Side-by-sides, the four-seater. One of their utility vehicles. And actually, this next float, Mr. Mark Ellis, Mark stopped by our booth earlier when we were doing our sound check and wanted to make sure we knew. In case you couldn't tell, it is his float is sponsored by the Trump 2020 campaign.
And he is playing Bad Company.
Bad Company. By Bad Company. He said he's been practicing this song for months trying to get it right.
And you know, it sounds
pretty good.
Practice paid off for him.
In his model town clock. That's good. That's really good.
And I think it is appropriate that he's playing Bad Company because Preston, Slaughter at Sundown, is following behind him. And I see some pretty terrifying clouds, actually. I will even admit that these guys are creeping me out even a little bit. That guy on top of the car,
that's how you know it's a good hayride. When you're scared during the parade.
Yeah. Ooh, oh yeah. You know what? I'm normally into this kind of stuff. He's actually kind of creeping me out a little bit. He's got the laugh.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know. I'm still gonna
and we made sure, our camera guys made sure they got a close-up on that too.
I'm still gonna have to go, but I'm already terrified.
And again, we talk about all the things going on around the fair. I feel like every year there's less and less I get to go see because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
And one of those that is going in the park all weekend are the antique snowmobiles. I mean, the first time I got to see them was this weekend, today, excuse me. Today I walked by this morning, had a little time to walk around and talk with some different people and got to see the snowmobiles up close. So we see more sponsors, MHM Construction and Northern Air. And they are leading out in front of the Elmont Raider Marching Band. Under the direction of Mr. Adam Wetzel. Looks like they're firing up the fight song.
Yeah. Shout out probably to all their fans that came to support them while they're in the parade today.
Yep.
Oh, and Alumni did not come to play with who is pulling for all their equipment. They got military-grade trucks ready to go.
Yeah, and so if the instruments don't fit in the trailer, you can just throw them in the back of the carrier.
You know, I think that might be the smartest way to go about it, honestly. Just get big trailer, big truck, everything will fit then.
And this big inflatable dude looks like the Tall Shriner unit of the Elk Shrine. Hope I'm saying that right. And we'll see a couple of their hospital drivers coming through.
Oh, and you know what? It looks like Richmond Community Theater is coming through. They actually, this weekend, and I know for a couple more weekends, they're doing Young Frankenstein, I believe. I have heard really great things about the performance from this weekend. I unfortunately have not been able to go since we have been very busy with the festival. But all of the actors are really getting into it, as you can see from the playground, and everybody who's gone to the show has loved it.
It's hard to beat Young Frankenstein.
It really is.
I love them. Gene Wilder's a comedic genius. We see Tractor Supply and the League of Women Voters in Macomb County come through with their Golden Retriever. Tractor Supply and another sponsor of our parade. And we've got our neighbors to the north, the Memphis High School Marching Band, under the direction of Mr. Josh Esch. And we'll see Mr. Esch come into frame here pretty soon. I got a chance to work with him. There he is down there on the bottom. I got to work with him a little bit when I was student teaching there years ago. Awesome guy. And his passion for the band obviously shows in a lot of their performances. It says they are small but mighty. And their senior drum majors are Dominic Pink and Madison Addington, and junior Tara Peters. So shout out to the Memphis band.
And of course, following behind their band is Miss Memphis and her court members. And I think, if I'm looking correctly, they might have some Little Miss Memphises on there as well.
I do see Little Miss Memphises. That's kind of cool. That's the only group we've seen with the Little Miss.
Together with them, yeah.
That's a cool way to do it.
And I love it. They got the little ones throwing out candy. And luckily, since Queens do normally have those big dresses going on with them, they stay pretty warm for this.
Yes. And while we've got kind of a little low, we can look at our crowd here. Huge turnout for the parade. Like, it seems like every year it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm assuming the rest of the route looks this packed. We got to let you know that you can watch this broadcast. You can go to YouTube and search Richmond TV 12. You can see this and all of the events that have been filmed this weekend. I think our producer Jason might be one of the, and people are gonna jump me for it, but I think he might be one of the busiest people during good old days.
Probably.
Between all the events that get filmed, the bump and run, the derby, the Little Miss, the football game. We had a home football game, so that got filmed. The parade, and I'm sure I'm missing some of it.
We must be missing so much more.
And if you missed it, you can check that out on YouTube. Search Richmond TV 12, and you can find all of our community events that have been recorded. Give it a check. Give it a subscribe. It's good stuff. As we see Miss Memphis again and the Little Miss Memphises go by.
And as we've mentioned before, helping with the broadcast and everything, Jason is not a one-man show. He does have help with this. So we'd love to give a big shout out to Tristan Dooley, Tyler Blish, and Aaron Youngburn. Sorry if I'm saying the last names incorrectly. Thank you. See, I need the teacher to help with last names. He's really good at it. We appreciate all the work that you guys put in and helping me and Preston look like we know what we're doing up here.
A little, they make us look good. Next is the Can-Am Bmx Group. They are a non-profit BMX group. That's kind of cool. I know they weren't here last year for that. So that's kind of
a newer one coming in.
Yeah,
for
cool
parade.
thing to get kids involved with. And they've all got their helmets on.
Yes,
they are wearing helmets.
Is number one.
Yes, and then having fun.
Yes.
Safety, then fun.
Do you see? They have kids. They're just like standing on the. I have trouble just like doing like no hands.
Yeah, and they're popping wheelie. Well, that's why they're in a BMX club.
It's very true.
Ooh, I know this one coming up. These are members of the car show. Looks like a 1978 Trans Am. And I know Herbie there.
Our little love bug.
Do you think that's Caitlin, do you think that's the real, is that the real Herbie?
I don't know. You might have to look because he normally gives just like quick little winks to let you know.
You gotta really
him.
watch as we see the Can-Am truck roll by. There's Herbie.
Oh, you know what it might be? He's squirting water and he is known for that.
Yes. And they got a cat in the back seat. Gotta love Herbie. Trans Am's a good look too. I love that gold Trans Am color. That is a sharp car. Is that a T-top? Looks like a T-top.
I think it is.
And again, another thing I don't get, because I get so busy, I don't get to go see the car show either.
Know. I think this is the first year I missed it and I was bummed.
We see the T's Roadhouse banner went by, as well as Prinall. Prinall's actually 2 doors down from where we're at. I know they do a ton of signage for a bunch of different groups for the festival, banners, all of your printing needs. I know they did our wristbands and handouts for the children's parade for the wrestling team. So those turned out awesome. Can't say enough good things about Michelle and the whole group at Prinall. Shout out Michelle. Hooked us up. And they do our state championship pictures for wrestling.
Oh, there you go.
So shout out Prino. And shout out the Cuzno Marching Patriot Band. Because we get a mix of larger bands like the Cuznos, the Uticas, Chip, and Dakota. And we get a mix that with some of the smaller bands, the Harper Woodses, Armada, Richmond, Memphis. So you kind of get both sounds too, and they both sound pretty good.
They're all impressive, but in such different ways.
Yes.
And it's fun to watch them all perform today.
And we've got members of parts of the Antique Tractor Show. Again, another thing, this pamphlet, just every year there's more and more and more going on, and you want to see it all. And another thing I didn't really get to go see was the Antique Tractor Show. When I walked by the festival this morning, they'd already taken them and they were cleaning them up again and getting them lined up. So we see some old Farmalls. Yep, some old Farmall tractors. I believe this next one coming up is an old Ford. We see a couple of those tractors.
And it looks like he might be helping out his friend behind him.
Oh, well, they got to keep moving together anyway, so.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the plan. They're showing that this is still
it's still a good tractor.
Yeah. That's the sign of a good tractor. It can still pull another one. And this next group rocking up Main Street would be Action Homesteaders of Richmond and their Youth for Christ group. The Youth for Christ group of Eastern Michigan. And we see members of that Youth for Christ group in their light blue shirts.
Yeah, it's great to see the different age groups going on down there. A couple of them maybe napping a little bit in the strollers. It's a pretty long parade, so I don't blame them when you're that little.
No. Yeah, if we look, you see the giant clear cross there.
That's a real team player to carry that the whole parade route.
They are rocking.
Yeah. Looks like coming up behind them, we have the Demolition Derby winner.
Yes. Real excited this year. They had the USA Derby Championships here at Good Old Days. So that brought in a huge crowd of Derby drivers for Saturday. And then you add that to the bump and run Thursday and the figure eight on Friday. The motorsports part was packed.
Yeah,
all 3 days.
I had to stand for most of the ones that I went to.
Mm-hmm. And the pink banner of the Leap of Faith Dance Studio. Now, I believe these guys this group was also in the children's parade.
They were.
I know there were a couple different dance groups in that parade, and I think Leap of Faith was one of them, so they've been busy.
Mm-hmm. They have been very busy, and I always love watching the girls perform because I am just so uncoordinated.
Oh, look, we get a Miss Richmond Lexi Rajewski's up there. We should mention in her bio she has been a competitive dancer since age 5, and she's a member of Leap of Faith. So kind of double duty there. Rode down on Miss Richmond, came back for her dance studio float. So that's cool.
Maybe that was a little wink for the color of the dress we got for her this year. It all makes sense now.
And I know these guys will be busy starting the next couple weeks, if they haven't been busy enough already.
I know.
Members of the Christensen Farms. And I believe, yep, that's Colton Christensen up there leading the tractors through. Other members of the Christensen family and some of their friends passing out kelp. There's Parker. Yep. Passing out candy for the Christensens.
Just in case they need a little bit more power.
Yes.
Bring in the big guns.
The Christensen Farms semi. Good thing Good Old Days isn't a little later in the year. These tractors would be out in the fields
Yeah, they'd be busy. They
all
wouldn't
day.
have
We
time.
wouldn't be able to have them in the parade. We see some more of the Christensen Farms staff. They're having too much fun with this, Caitlin.
Well, that's all what the parade's about, right?
Another big time sponsor of the parade, a guy I know is busy not only during the fair, but the weeks leading up, weeks after. Bertassi Bulldozing, getting that derby pit together, getting all the different excavating and grading needs of the fair.
Yeah.
Uncle Gary works his tail off, make sure this comes together. As well as Joe Ballard Towing and Georgetown Entertainment DJ. And we get the See You Next Year banner, which means, I think this is just one of the most awesome traditions with the fair. We start it great with the VFW members and the colors, and we end it with more hardworking people.
Yeah.
All of the volunteers that work all year long, work like crazy this weekend.
To make sure that the festival is fun and all the amazing events are put together for the different members of the community.
Yeah.
It's always crazy to see all of these people in the orange shirts and in their golf carts running around all weekend just to make sure that everybody else is having a good time. And I know they do sneak in sometimes where they, of course, are able to enjoy all their hard work themselves too. But I know that the whole community really appreciates all the hard work that they put in, and we all look forward to Good Old Days every year.
Yeah, and we see Mayor Ricks there. The man, I said Jason might be the hardest working person. That guy right there I know works all year long to make sure this fair goes off without a hitch, and it represents our town well, and it's something that everybody can enjoy.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we talk about the parade being like the wrap up to the festival. And actually we talked about this might be like the wrap up to the summer, but certainly the party doesn't stop up with this.
Yeah.
I know we've got events going on later tonight. We got all those bands playing in the beer tent.
The festival grounds are still open with all the rides, food, elephant ears, chili cheese fries. You can still do all that to kind of wrap up your Sunday before you do any Lions football later on today. So on behalf of myself, Preston, all of us here at Richmond TV, we thank you for tuning in with us, and we can't wait to see you again next year.
Have a great year.
Bye, guys.